2, 1. Kia ora te whānau, welcome back to Two Tipsy Plants podcast, where we talk plants and drink booze. My name is Sasha.
And my name is Sasha, and I'm so proud of you that you didn't fuck up this one.
Yeah, it kind of is embedded in my head now. And in today's episode, we will be talking about sticky plants. They're not really sticky, but we call them sticky plants. And
Sticky situations.
and the honey that is made out of those plants. Also, in today's episode, we do have a drink, which Sasha will talk us through a bit later. But what we will be doing as well is we will be tasting different honeys. So we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different honeys on the table. We have bagels that we will be
Dipping into it. So if you hear us chew, disregard.
Yeah, we have some tea. We have I have some mulled wine. It is quite a well evaporated mulled wine, so it shouldn't have a lot of alcohol in it. But we also have a liqueur, which Sasha just poured for us.
Yes. So today on the podcast we're having...
Sorry, I really needed to burp.
Okay. So today on the podcast we are going to be having Lothlorian Winery liquor, which is a Feijoa and Manuka honey liquor.
We will talk about Manuka honey later.
Yeah, probably at the end of the episode, to be honest, just to save the best for the last.
Mm-hmm.
But a little bit about the winery. Honestly, unfortunately for me, because I'm an idiot, I didn't do much research on the winery. But when there was a Green Expo in Christchurch, I've been to the stand of them, and the people are quite lovely. And they have a very wide variety of different types of wine that they can offer. And they're all made with Feijoa.
I'm surprised that it's actually quite a nice combination, like Manuka and Feijoa.
It kind of has a smell and aftertaste of a port or a sherry to it.
It definitely smells a lot Feijoa-ish.
It's very Feijoa-ish.
What's the percentage on it?
To be called the liquor, you usually should be like
20 plus?
20-ish. Well, 18.
Okay, close enough. Well, port kind of, yeah. Right, cha-ching.
Yeah, it's quite a beautiful color. It's
very golden
/ like copper and very sticky. It's like if you have a sticky wine like late harvest Riesling, but
I mean it's sweet, but it's not. I feel like port is sweeter than this.
You can actually find drier ports than this.
I like it.
Try if it actually tastes different from different glass, because it does matter for the wine. I want to see if it matters for this as well.
Oh, it definitely smells different.
Because Sasha is drinking from the flute, I am drinking more from a deep red wine / Chardonnay type of glass, so it has a bigger surface area.
And I still, this glass and me, it just doesn't work. I spilled the drink on me again.
So yeah, this glass has a bigger surface area, so bigger contact with air. So it opens up quicker.
I don't know about the taste, but definitely smells better than from the flute. No, it's yummy. It's a different. It's good to have something different.
It actually tastes better from a glass, I would say, from the white glass, I would say, because you can definitely taste more honey to it. All right, Sasha, I have already put some honey on my not the croissant, the bagel.
Hold on.
Sorry.
So Sasha will start with a bit of history of honey, and before we start that, we will taste some Tasman honey. Which is semi-soft honey, and it's a multifloral honey, so it doesn't have a particular flower that it's derived from. What I like about this particular honey, which is obviously comes from Tasman region, is that it's actually in a cupboard jar, which is great because it's compostable, or you can use it you can plant in it, and because it already has honey, it already has some sugars for your plant.
Actually, honey is a great tip to use for your cuttings, because honey has antimicrobial properties to it, and that actually helps the plant to grow without being infected by mold or fungus.
What I would suggest the way we should eat this is eat it like a little bit without the bread first, just to taste the actual honey, and then eat it with bread.
Do you have anything to say about the multifloral honeys?
I know in New Zealand you can get different multifloral honeys. You can get like a wild bush multifloral, which is purely New Zealand sort of wild bush flowers. But you can also get like meadow wild flowers. that are
whatever you find in the middle.
whatever you find, which is like natives and exotics.
Yeah. The side note to the multifloral honeys is that when I had multifloral honey from Russia, and I'm allergic to quite a lot of plants, if you have allergies to plants like ambrosia or something, and you know that you're allergic to your local plants, don't get multifloral, because I
hope you'll be okay after this one.
because I was feeling like I have fever and like I am having like mild cold, but with fever. And I kept on eating honey because that's what you do when you're feeling sick. But I kept on getting worse and worse. And then it kind of clicked in my mind, oh, what kind of honey am I eating? Oh, yeah. All right. Before honey runs down my hand, let's eat it.
This is very your classic, slightly crystallized honey.
Mm.
It's still nice, but it's very, it's definitely just a multifloral nice honey.
Lovely. Great. So, a little bit of ancient history. Let's start from the very beginning. So, the earliest recording / evidence of humans collecting honey dates to around 8,000 years ago. Ancient rock paintings in Spain depict people gathering honey from wild beehives. Freaking long ago.
It's a job and a half, isn't it?
And it's quite a job and a half, especially for ancient people who don't really have any protection to it. In ancient Egypt, honey was a symbol of wealth and was used as an offering to gods. It was also used for culinary and medicinal purposes. That was the history fact number 1.
It still is used for both culinary and medicinal.
Nothing have changed for over 7,000 years.
Hey, I did say that when I had COVID, I kept drinking tea with honey, and it felt like I only had COVID for a day. So yeah.
In Greek mythology, for example, honey was considered the food of gods and was believed to have healing properties. The Romans used honey as a sweetener and preservative for fruits. It was also used as a form of a currency.
Okay.
I mean, I can see why it's used as a preservative, just because it does have antimicrobial and I think antiseptic properties as well, which means that it's not going to get mold on anything that you're kind of pickle in it.
Honey is the only product that
does not go off.
Yeah.
That was one of my fun facts.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to add to it. So yeah, I see why it's used as preservative, because you can use sugar as preservative, and obviously you can use honey as preservative as well, because it's full of glucose as well.
And enzymes. Ancient civilizations, including Egyptians, Greeks, and Chinese, used honey in various medicinal remedies for ailments such as wounds, infections, and digestive issues.
Believe it or not, you can still use honey if you have like a bit of an skin infection. You can use honey to put on top of you. The only thing is, it's sticky.
It's sticky and kind of uncomfortable, so that's why people prefer using something else.
Yeah, but it does help.
Honey remained a vital commodity during the Middle Ages. Monasteries had their own beehives, and honey was used for cooking, brewing, and making meat. Honey was also used to make candles and provide light before the widespread use of electricity.
Oh,
the wax.
Oh, the wax, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
During the Industrial Revolution, honey have brought in advancement. With Industrial Revolution and bringing down the advancements with the revolution, beekeeping practices became a bit more accessible and have spread on a larger scale and allowed honey production to be a bit more widespread. Honey popularity as a sweetener remains strong, and it continued to be used as cooking and baking.
I love using honey in cooking, like especially like sweet and sour, but you use honey instead of other sweeteners. It's really good.
Yeah, honey festivals and traditions are celebrated in different cultures and countries around the world, showcasing and enduring its importance. Yeah, that was a little bit of a spill on honey history around the world.
Yeah, it's been around for a while, and I like honey. I like that in New Zealand, it's a very popular, just like wine and beer. A lot of people do produce honey as a hobby as well.
It's almost like a side project, side product of anything else that you have. Like if you have a big vineyard, orchard, or anything, just put a beehive and you're also producing honey.
And pollinating your plants as well, yeah. So in New Zealand, it's quite common to see honey sheds, which is like a honey, pretty much you'll be driving somewhere in the middle of nowhere or in the city, which I'll talk about in a bit.
And it almost looks like an abandoned honey shed.
Yeah, there is just like a shed that has honey jars in it. So somebody produces honey, and there is an honesty box or like a account where you can transfer money to. So you just take as much honey as you want and pay them, like they have the price list, obviously, and you just pay them what you owe for the honey. So yeah, New Zealand's quite a trustworthy country. But a lot of those sheds, they do have video cameras.
Yeah.
Which is fair, because it's actually getting a bit different in New Zealand.
Yeah, because people are kind of abusing
greedy and abusing it, yeah.
That's why we're not going to be including any addresses of the places that we know, just in case.
No. There is one, I'll just say roughly where it is, but there is, where the South Library is, just literally 5 minutes away from here. There is a honey shed nearby that somebody runs that you can, like with the honesty box as well. I haven't had honey from them just yet, and I actually wanted to go there this morning, but then my dog is not fully vaccinated yet, so I can't take him with me just yet.
3 more days.
But also, I don't know if they have honey now because it's winter. Yeah.
I mean, they probably still have like a lot of honey
Maybe,
left to sell.
Yeah. But I'll talk about those honey sheds a bit later as well. Would you like to start with clover honey, because that's what we have next?
Alrighty.
And then we also have, before you start, we also have Sasha actually brought clover honey with the honey
honeycomb itself.
Yeah. So do I just scoop like a bit of it and then we chew?
And we just chew the whole goodness of wax and propolis and honey. It's just because it's a clover honey and it's the most basic one. It smells so
different though.
I know, it's the most basic one, but also if you get it in a honeycomb, it just makes it so much more oomph.
We will talk about oomph later as well.
So clover honey, trifolium species. There is no country of origin for that because it's all over the world essentially. It is derived from wild clover flowers, and the color of the honey is usually pale gold. It is usually pale gold. It has a mild sugary taste and sweet aroma. The format that I'm going to be describing the honeys that I have on my list will be name, Latin name, country of origin, description, characteristics, and health benefits.
You can also touch on the fact that clover is like an amazing plant.
For pastures, yeah. So health benefits for the plant is it provides energy, supports digestion, soothes the cough and the sore throat. And just having honey, just keep on chewing the propolis. It's great for you, and it's like a best alternative for chewing gum.
It's actually really yummy.
Yeah, so the clover itself, besides being great for honey, it is great for pasture as well. It fixes heaps of nitrogen, and with current movement of the government to try to decrease the output of nitrogen for dairy factories, it might be a good idea to use like high content clover on your pastures. You would actually, not because it will help you with nitrogen from cows, but because it means that you would use less nitrogen as a fertilizer.
I actually wanted to get rid of lawn in my garden at all, but now that we have a dog, we kind of have to have some lawn just for him to go to the loo. I was wondering because like you know how if you have lawn, once the dog pees on it, it's so yummy, right? Once the dog pees on it, you have a patch, because acid kills lawn.
Not acid, it's nitrogen. It's a highly concentrated nitrogen. Oh,
even better than that, yeah. I wonder how clover will do with that.
It's fine. It fixes nitrogen.
Yeah, might actually be a better alternative if you have a dog.
Sorry, it's so honey.
It's like super yum though.
I don't know why clover honey has a bad rep to it. White clover honey has a very bad rep to it.
Because I don't think
because it's not Manuka honey, so that's why.
It's just because it's so what happens, I actually have another plant that is very similar to clover in terms of the abundance of it. It's just because it's not like a rare plant, because clover is all over the world. That's why it's not as popular. But then you still get different clover. You have different concentration of the nectar. And also sometimes you get clover plus a bit of other sort of multifloral elements to it. But that particular one is really yum. I don't know if it's because it's in a honeycomb or...
I think it's because it's in a honeycomb, because it has the properties, like it has the aftertaste of wax, propolis to it, and it's not refined.
Really am.
The next plant that you would like to talk about is...
I'm just looking on our table. Maybe the next one that we'll have... actually, no, I'll talk about a plant that does not involve...
Yeah, we don't have to taste every plant that we're actually going to bring up.
I'm actually a bit like... I should have ordered some honey from that honey shed down south, because they had a really good variety, and there is one that I loved particularly. But anyway, one of the popular honeys in the world and in New Zealand is the Viper's Bugloss honey. I'll show you a picture. Tell me what it looks like.
Borage.
It grows in Russia as well, and you can take the plant and suck on the back of the flower.
I wanted to buy it today. They have it in New World.
Yeah, they do have it in New World, but I bought like 3 different ones. I was like, I'll skip on this one. So, Viper's Bugloss, also known as blue weed, the scientific name is Echium vulgare, is a species of a flowering plant in borage family, as you mentioned.
It is borage.
Yes, it is. It's native to most Europe and Central Asia, and it is just like clover, it is another meadow plant. So it's just a weed called that way that grows in the meadow. The reason it's called Viper's Bugloss is the plant root was used in ancient times as a treatment for snake or viper bites. I don't know how useful it was, but yeah. If eaten, the plant is toxic to horses and cattle, not to humans, because I remember plucking the flower and actually sucking on the back of the flower. It's actually really sweet. It's like a childhood memory of mine.
I've never tried.
You've never tried it before?
But also the thing, going back to the snake poison and stuff, in ancient times, if you don't die from poison of a snake, you die from infection. So by applying the honey, you at least don't die from infection. And if you're lucky enough to survive the poison...
by the way, we are having tea with our honey, a bit of that liquor, and also we do have, as I mentioned, mulled wine, which is quite evaporated. Sasha is not keen on mulled wine today, but I'm having a bit of it.
I'm just not a fan of highly spiced liquids. Like, I am very particular about the concentrations of the clove and anise seed.
I didn't add any seed. It does have a little bit of clove. I've actually made like a Asian style with lemongrass and kaffir lime. So yeah, the honey from Viper's Bugloss is has quite a delicate floral bouquet. It's quite high in fructose, which I see why, because like when you suck on the back of the flower, it's really, really sweet. Used as a drink sweetener, especially with coffee, which I know that my mom loves honey with coffee. I should try. As in, like, you have honey and then drink coffee, like you don't mix it into the coffee.
Just call it Connie.
Cunny.
It's very cunny.
Yeah. So one of the most memorable honey shades for me is the one down south in central Otago. They had all the honeys that I'm talking about today, and one of them was that Viper's Bugloss honey as well. That was one of the most liquidy honey that they had. So a lot of locals loved buying it, because we like caught up with one local who was also buying stuff from that honey shed. She said that that's one of their liquid honeys that you can use obviously in your cereal or whatever you use it for, and she loves it. I found it's floral, but it's not my favorite. Yeah, but it's surprising how many plants can be used by bees. Actually, speaking of...
Anything that has pollen can be honey.
Yeah, but speaking of, do you know that it's not only bees that can produce honey?
Wasps can do honey too.
All non-parasitic bumblebees and stingless bees produce honey. Some wasp species, such as...
Killer wasps. Good luck trying to get that one.
Some wasp species found in South and Central America are known to feed on nectar and produce honey as well. There are other wasps that also consume honey. Yeah, I found it quite cool that it's not just honeybees that produce honey. It's just obviously honeybees are...
the most prolific producers of honey.
Yeah, and they are just used in the industry a lot. So yeah, that was really cool. The Viper's Bugloss, I didn't know that it was used to treat snake bites.
I think it was just very accessible at that time for that practice. But you probably can use any type of honey for that purpose. I'll probably just continue with honey facts at the moment. A honeybee worker only makes an average of 1/12 of a teaspoon in her lifetime.
Oh, the actual honeybee worker. I thought people who work at the
No. No, the honeybee worker produces 1/12 of a teaspoon in its lifetime. 1 ounce of the honey would fuel a bee's flight around the world. A pound of honey is made by 2 million flower visits. The bees fly 55,000 miles back and forth to bring that honey.
Yep, they can cover massive distances.
And it takes a lot of bees and takes a lot of work. That's why people are called worker bees. Yeah. Honey can be stored for eternity. That's another fun fact. You heard it. Yeah, you heard it right. Honey is few of the rarest foods that never spoils. Honey has been found in ancient Egyptian tombs, and it is still edible after thousands of years. Isn't that crazy? Once nicely packed and stored in an airtight container, honey can be preserved. Honey can be preserved for an infinite number of years. This is because honey contains enzymes that produce hydrogen peroxide, which acts as a natural preservative.
Also acts as a disinfectant.
Going back to the episode that we have just recorded, I wonder if you apply honey to that wood, will it produce the reaction and will make the wood blue?
Oh, the wood of life?
The wood of life.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm sure honey somewhere is referred to as the liquid of life or something. So if you combine wood of life and the liquid of life, or liquid gold, that would be fun as an alchemy experiment. I'm also sure that you guys have seen 5-minute craft videos of people just dipping the plant cuttings into the honey. Well, it's not the craziest idea, to be honest.
Well, because it's so high in sugars and carbohydrates and energy, yeah.
Yeah, so it basically has everything for the plant to start growing, first of all, plus antiseptic and anti-inflammatory properties, as we've mentioned prior. Great for the plant to start off. It means it's not going to have the mold. It means it's not going to have... It's not a crazy idea to use honey for propagations.
Hence, I'm really big fan of that Tasman honey packaging, because you obviously can't wash it, so you'll always have honey on the walls. So if you put soil straight into it and have a seedling or a seed in it,
who needs fertilizer when you have honey?
Exactly, because that's what they say on their packaging as well. You can use it for your seedlings, and great idea, good job, Tasman honey.
I was also googling if you can use I was also googling if you can use the honey for plant grafting, because it's not a silly idea, because that's another thing that will not help. It's not easy.
I guess it can also coat and preserve the wound of the plant, wherever you do the grafting.
Yeah, and while I was doing that, I also found that honey honey has strong adhesive properties, but it was also used for skin grafting as well.
Oh, wow.
Which, if people don't know what a skin grafting is, somebody has, for example, burns or just skin lesions and skin removed.
If you need skin
replacement
transplant, they usually take it from your own body, but sometimes they can take it from somebody else.
So yeah, apparently honey is used because it's antiseptic again, and
I guess it has soothing feeling to it as well if you apply it to your skin.
I'm not sure, but also it's sticky, so great. Yeah.
Nice.
Another disturbing fact that explained a lot is that mummies were sometimes embalmed in honey, and often sarcophagi were sealed up with beeswax.
Right.
Yeah. Throwback to the 12th century and onward, if you haven't known that crazy fact, Europeans were eating Egyptian mummies as a medicine. Yeah. You heard me
I'm
right.
not producing any sound because I've just made a really...
Shocked by it?
Yes.
Yeah. Mummies are not rare phenomenon. Apparently, it's just like a medium rare snack.
Great.
No wonder we don't have much of them left. People just ate them all.
Yum.
So yeah, it used to be sold in apothecaries and on the shelves, middle of 16th century, which was the peak of that.
Shit, that's a very viscous honey.
Runny honey? Yeah. So yeah, it's not only just delicious sweetener, it is also a little bit gruesome.
Cool. We will go into the next honey.
Oh, yum.
Sasha's already, because it was running away from the little bagel, he's already tried it. I'll actually try it as well before starting talking about it. So
Clover was more like a sugar, like.
Yes, you are very correct. So the honey that we're tasting right now is known as honeydew honey. And Sasha is very correct. This honey has less glucose in it than any other honey. The most interesting part about any honeydew honeys, in the one that we have specifically today, is actually a beechwood honey, a New Zealand beechwood honey, is the honeydew honey is actually produced not from the flowers, but from a secretion of insects, such as aphids and scales. So what happens is, and I'll talk about the specific New Zealand one once I finish my bagel with honey. It's actually really yum.
I used to try it when we went for a field trip into the beech forest. You just see all those beech trees covered in black mold, and there are like, if you look closely,
droplets.
You see the little droplets of honeydew, and you can taste it, and it's just like very sweet.
It's very sweet, yeah. So in New Zealand, the beechwood honeydew honey is produced from beech forests. Mostly the two main beech trees that produce that honeydew are black beech, which is Nothofagus solandii, and red beech, which is Nothofagus fusca. So in the beech forest, what you'll see is beech trees are actually covered in like black sort of residue on the trunks. This is a black sooty mold, and there is a scale insect that feeds on that sooty mold, which is called black sooty mold scale. And that particular scale produces the honeydew. So the honeydew that you see in the forest, the one that you can sort of scrape with your finger and have a bit, usually the honeybees collect not those particular little droplets, but they can usually be found a bit higher in the canopy, collecting the dew from the insect itself, which is a little bit sort of deeper in the bark. But yeah, so what is great about this honey is, it's different because it's not produced from the flower, it's actually produced from the secretion of another insect. So
yeah, scale poopies.
But it's funny how it's scale poopies and then it's bee poopies. You know what I mean? Like it's
scale poopies, then mold secretion, mold concentrate, and then it's bee poopies. Bee puke. Sorry, it's bee puke.
Great. Yeah.
Bee vomit.
So that sooty mold is also present in the beech forest honeydew honey, and this is how they define the level of the honeydew in the honey. But yeah, as I said, it's great that it's not made out of flowers, it's just different. But also this honey has lesser sugar in it. So it's a little bit healthier for people who have troubles with, prone to diabetes. But also to people who just want to, I guess, be a little bit healthier. Even though honey is still healthier than sugar.
Yeah, I don't think that honey is unhealthy for you.
Again, everything in moderation though.
Well, yeah. But also, it's different type of sugar. What we are usually consuming as consumers, sucrose and maltodextrose, and whereas this is fructose, which is a little bit easier to digest and assimilate within your body. Also, this one just tastes different. Like I'm very much a fan of it. I'm gonna get a jar of it once we finish this podcast because it has a very deep flavor to it.
Yeah.
Deeper than clove, for sure. It also has different color. Like clove is pale golden. This one is more like brownish.
It's very dark. It's probably on the darkest scale of honeys, but also it's very runny. Yeah. Because it's so runny and it doesn't have that much sugar in it, it rarely crystallizes. I think it just doesn't crystallize at all.
It also has a vanilla aftertaste to it. It's quite nice.
Yeah. Oh, like I'm quite a big fan of honeydew honey. Yeah. That's my spill on honeydew honey.
Okay, honey. All right. So, another honey that I would like to talk about at the moment. I would like just to slightly cover the native bush honey. That was the multifloral one that we were talking about prior. Again, comes from various native plants. It has mild herbal and fruity taste and strong aroma to it. It contains natural antibacterial properties and contributes to the digestive health of a consumer, which is quite nice.
A lot of honey actually does, especially Manuka.
I mean, it's a quite generic description of a honey, but most of them, you just need to do a deeper research to see which one has the best of the
best benefits
the most
for you.
most potent, essentially.
But I feel like different people could react differently to different honeys as well. So
yeah, again, talking about me having allergic reactions.
yeah.
Manuka honey. Everybody is talking about Manuka honey, but I think it kind of makes sense to talk about the Manuka honey. Just kind of gonna keep on bringing it up. I think we have brought it up last time on our last episode. Did you guys know that Manuka and Manuka is completely different species? Yeah, because Manuka is Leptospermum, whereas Manuka is Kunzia ericoides. Everybody keeps on comparing them, and
Well, they do look similar though. They do. Manuka has smaller flowers, but the flower arrangement looks the same. Obviously, Manuka is kind, so if you touch it, it's softer, where Manuka is mean, so Manuka is pricklier.
Stole the words off my tip of the tongue.
Sorry, but no, I'm just saying that, yeah, it's. I do agree with you. It's cool how they look similar, but they're actually completely different species.
Yes, and obviously the honey is derived from a Manuka tree flowers. It has sweet, aromatic butterscotch taste and clean finish to it. It has potential wound healing properties and antibacterial effects, like every other honey does. I have never tried it before, and
No, I've never tried just
I
Manuka
haven't
honey,
seen it
no.
yet as well. Like, I'm sure it's available on the market. I just didn't come across it.
I would say it's probably another one of those honey shade finds. Yeah.
Probably it's also quite hard to find Manuka honey that is like significant amount of it is Manuka, just because Manuka forests are quite hard to find / grow.
Well, depends on where you go, but there are Manuka reach. Call it shrubs, not forests. Like there would be like a shrub of Manuka. Yeah. Would you like to go with
Rata honey.
Yeah, Rata honey maybe.
Yeah, let's
next.
It isn't on my next list.
Yeah, you feel free to add to it. We will maybe just spread it on first. Hey, have a sniff of it first.
Well, the color looks very crystallized and very milky.
It's very creamy, isn't it?
Yeah. It looks very creamy, slightly green tint to it.
Like, it's very different, isn't it?
I can't taste. No, I can't smell, sorry. I can't taste it well because you didn't put it in your mouth.
Because you're smelling it.
Oh, that's better. A bit savory.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
A weird throwback that I just had because of the smell. Kind of smells like agar-agar petri dish.
A little bit, maybe. Do you know that your sense of smell is like the most memorable one? Like if you smell something, it just throws you back.
Yeah, that's what I remember from when I was working in a lab.
Good job.
Actually, good.
Damn, the texture. Have you tried it just off the spoon? The texture is so awesome.
A little bit gritty.
A little bit, but it's very creamy. I like the texture.
Fine grit. Very creamy. Mostly even like butter.
Very yum. Very yum. Very sweet though, like super sweet. So, Rata honey comes from a New Zealand native called Rata, obviously, which is a Metrosideros umbrellata. Guess if it's related to Pahudakawa?
Well, if you're asking it.
It is related to Pahudakawa because Pahudakawa is Metrosideros excelsa. They have very similar flowers, like red, sort of fluffy flower. Also flowers relatively at the same time during Christmas time.
Oh my gosh, it's so yum. I recommend you getting it.
Yes, it's very yummy. I love the texture. It flowers from early January to March. What makes it quite rare, Rata honey, is the fact that Rata apparently flowers. The frequency of Rata flowering is kind of sporadic, and some people say that it actually flowers every 3 years, sometimes every 7 years. So collecting honey that is collected from rata flowers is quite rare, and hence it is considered to be quite a high quality honey and a rare honey as well. Which I see why it's really good. It's not runny at all as well. Like,
No.
see that? Yeah, it's like, because I've got quite a big chunk on my bagel and it's just sitting there because I just want to finish the spill and have that on my bagel as well. Now Sasha's going for another one. So did you know that you can get Pahurakawa honey as well?
I haven't. No.
Never tried it, but yeah, you can get Pahurakawa honey as well. I'm assuming it's quite a quick collect honey because Pahurakawa doesn't flower for too long. Yeah. But most of the rata honey comes from southern rata, which grows on South Island, which is usually a shrub / a tree. There's also northern rata, which does produce honey as well, but northern ratas are usually epiphytes or climbers.
Oh.
Yeah, where southern ratas are shrubs. Rata also provides abundant nectar for nectar-feeding birds such as kaka, tui, and bellbirds. Have you got anything to add to it? Despite the fact that it's super yummy.
Despite the fact that I keep on going for seconds. Yeah, it has smooth and buttery texture. It's delicate and has complex flavor. A little bit of a savory note at the end to it. Slightly even more like minty / eucalyptusy.
Yes. But very sweet.
It's not as sweet because of the creaminess. I think it's, even though it maybe has a higher sugar content, maybe, don't quote me on that,
It does.
but it's not perceived as sweet as the previous honeys just because of its creaminess, I think.
Probably, but also because it has that minty sensation to it. Like a cooling sensation to it. Yeah.
So yeah, it's rich in antioxidants, supports immune system health, and fights inflammation. That was rata. Okay, that was the last spoon for me.
Should I close it?
Yes, please.
Because we still have 3 more honeys. Well, 2 are very similar. But we just actually it's good that you brought that one because they have different ratings in them, but we'll talk about that later. I want to taste how different they are.
Yeah, I want to see if rating matters. The next honey I would like to talk about is thyme honey.
Ooh, second favorite.
Second favorite, definitely. It's so flavorful. It is so potent.
It's also savory at the same time.
It's also savory, and I just love it because it smells like honey. It smells like thyme. It tastes like thyme. I love thyme.
You can have it in your tea.
Yeah, and it's great with teas because that's one of the things. If you never tried thyme tea, try it. But
Literally, just a little spring of thyme in your black tea just changes the whole flavor profile.
Yeah, it's made from bees collecting nectar from thyme flowers. Duh. The species is Thymus species because there are multiple different varieties.
Although, I'll just add to it, apparently the most important one for the bees is Thymus serpylum, which is wild thyme creeping thyme. Yeah, apparently it has the most nectar for the honeybees. Yeah.
The honey itself has light color, strong herbal flavor, and it
Quite
possesses...
creamy as well. Like the texture is quite creamy. Unfortunately, we didn't find any today, but I love it.
Possesses antimicrobial properties and aids in respiratory health.
Yes. Well, yeah, I guess because it has quite a minty and very strong flavors to it. Yeah, I guess it does help your respiratory, especially I guess if you have like a bit of a sniffles.
I do want to try to find the rosemary honey.
I guess it does exist, but I've never actually tried it before. No?
Okay, until we get to the next honey.
So the next honey that I'd love to talk about, which unfortunately we do not have the actual honey on our table of, is kamahi honey. Have you ever tried it? If you find it, try it. It has the biggest flavor profile I've ever tried in honey. B, if you like thyme honey, you will love. Pun intended. B, if you love thyme honey, you will love kamahi honey. It's more savory than thyme honey. Very savory, very creamy as well. I personally, my favorite honey so far. But kamahi is again another New Zealand native, Pterophylla racemosa.
Oh, I have a different one. Weinmannia racemosa.
It's the same plant, it just has been reclassified as the case with most of the plants. Yeah, kamahi trees, they form like a significant part of the forest canopy. They can grow up to 25 meters in maturity, believe it or
That's tall.
not. They're spread throughout the whole New Zealand, and it can be produced at the same time as River and Manuka honey.
I wanted to get river honey. I was like, maybe we'll have too much honey and we will have a sugar overload.
We'll have sugar overload, yeah. So, yeah, as I said, it's distributed throughout New Zealand, but also the Pterophila genus is widespread through Madagascar, Melanesia, and Southern Pacific, so it's not kind of New Zealand special, call it that way, but obviously Kamahi is New Zealand special.
Mm-hmm.
Kamahi flowers in spring and offers a lot of nectar to the bees, and it is one of the most understated honeys in New Zealand because, I don't know, maybe because it has such a big flavor profile, not a lot of people can appreciate it because it could be a bit too much for some people.
Probably not all can tolerate it.
Yeah, but honestly, love it, absolutely love it.
Kamahi honey has pale golden hue, creamy texture, and intense taste, as I have mentioned. It offers antioxidants, aids immune health, promotes healthy skin apparently.
A lot of honey does that, but Kamahi, yeah. So, before the arrival of Europeans, Kamahi was so valuable to Maori that it was actually protected by tapu. So, when Maori were shaping the land and changing it for pastures and productive land, cutting of the Kamahi was forbidden and prohibited. Just like a lot of New Zealand natives, to be honest. Also, Kamahi bark is rich in tannins, so it was used to dye cloaks and mats and preserve fishing lines.
Yeah, it probably has like a dark hue, like red, brownish hue. Usually that's the color of tannins.
Yeah, but the actual honey doesn't. The actual honey is very close in color to
Rata?
Yeah, it's quite a sort of pale.
Yeah, golden, pale golden hue.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's creamy, yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's my favorite honey, Kamahi, which we don't have today.
Acacia honey is going to be the next one we're going to talk about.
It must be quite flavorsome, I'd say.
The species is Vachellia species, acacia species, produced from the nectar of acacia trees. Light color of the honey has light color, mild sweet flavor. It is gentle on digestion and soothes the digestive system.
The digestive system.
When it's so honey, so sweet, you kind of can't really talk.
We did have a lot of honey, though, yeah.
That is all for acacia. The next one will be eucalyptus honey. Don't have that as well on our table.
Oh, I'd love to try, though.
Mm-hmm.
It must be, you know how Rata honey had that cooling effect? Maybe eucalyptus one would have even more cooling effect.
I'm not going to be surprised if it does. It is derived from nectar of eucalyptus trees. Strong, medium sweet taste. Damp wood aroma. Potential respiratory benefits due to antiviral properties. The next one is buckwheat honey.
Really?
Which I actually tried. It's quite popular in Russia.
Okay.
This species is Phagopyrum esculentum, made from bees collecting nectar from buckwheat flowers. It is rich, dark, and yeah, it's slightly grainy and a little bit creamy. Not many people will be probably enjoying it because it has a bit of an aftertaste of molasses to it.
Okay.
Contains antioxidants, may relieve coughs and cold symptoms. So yeah, in Russia we usually had it as...
It's quite a kind of traditional remedy, call it that way. Yeah.
Lavender honey. I would definitely like to have that.
Again, quite minty, probably.
I don't think so.
Lavender is quite minty. Like, I have lavender tea.
Okay. Never tried it, but I would love to. I love lavender. It is produced from nectar of lavender flowers. Light to medium sweet taste. Just varies in color, just like a lavender flower does. Promotes relaxation and calming effects.
Yes, it does. Because actually, I make my own sleepy tea. So it has green cardamom, mint,
Chamomile,
and lavender. Yes, and you have that before you go to bed, and you will sleep like a baby.
like a baba.
Like a baby. Like this one that we have right next to us. Bolter has joined us today. My little puppy, my little Cocker Spaniel puppy, and he's just chilling next to Sasha on his pillow.
How many more honeys do you have to cover?
Just one, which is the Tawari.
Then I'll just cover all the rest once because it's just a very short spill.
Yep.
Topuela honey, which is Nisa species, local to southeastern United States. Made from nectar of the white Topuela tree, it is light, buttery flavor, and light in color as well.
Actually, sorry, no, I do have two. I've just realized.
That honey contains antioxidants, part of balanced diet apparently. Don't know why. Orange blossom honey, I would like to try that one. Produced from nectar of orange blossom flowers, yeah. Light color, delicate floral flavor. Offers vitamins, minerals, contributes to overall health.
Would that be orange blossom, like the actual orange tree blossom, or the orange blossom like choice here?
I'd say it's orange blossom as in citrus. Yeah, citrus species. Sage honey.
Ooh.
I would like to try that as well.
That'd be quite flavorsome too.
Made from bees collecting nectar from sage flowers, strong herbal taste, light color, potential antimicrobial properties, and aids in digestion. Heather honey. Calluna vulgaris, Erica species. Produced from nectar of heather flowers, strong distinctive flavor, dark color, rich in antioxidants, supports immune function. I would kind of like to try that. I do like the strong flavor of honeys. Sunflower honey, which was quite a surprise for me. I mean, yes, if you think about it, anything that has pollen can be made into honey, as long as the bee collects it.
Because sunflower doesn't have like a fragrance. I mean, the seeds, sunflower seeds do, but sunflower on its own doesn't really have a fragrance, so I don't know how.
Does.
Well, it's not as strong, you know what I mean?
It's not as strong. It's more like dusty, kind of.
Yes, it would be interesting to see what the honey is when it's produced out of that.
Derived from honeydew secretions.
Sorry,
That's that's the next one.
Yeah.
Derived from the sunflower nectar. Light yellow color, light flavor, supports health and overall well-being. Honeydew honey that we have already had, derived from honeydew secretions. Pine honey.
Ooh, I'd love to try that.
I would like to try the pine honey. Produced by bees collecting honeydew from the pine trees. Dark color, rich, resinous flavor. May provide anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. Chestnut honey.
Yum.
Castanea species. Strong, slightly bitter taste. Yeah, can be derived from flowers and from a honeydew. Offers potential benefits due to the nectar and the honeydew blend. And the last one that I have on my list is oak honey.
Ooh.
Which, honestly, I was surprised to hear, but it's also oak tree honeydew. So, not a flower. Dark color, complex flavor. Duh. Everything about oak is very complex. And the history. Yeah.
The honey is like, I'm gonna be complex because of the complex history. The next one that we have is a Tawari honey. I tried to smell it, and honestly, I cannot.
You need to scrape a bit.
Yeah, it smells very savory.
Very honey.
To be very honest with you, not a big flavor profile. Tastes like honey. Tawari is a New Zealand native plant, which comes from a sole species of the genus Exerba brachioides. It's a bushy tree with thick, narrow, serrated dark green leaves and panicled of white flowers with a green heart. Apparently, it's very rich in nectar.
Rich, creamy honey with a butterscotch hint.
A little bit, yeah.
Comes from a deep forest tree. Slightly cooling.
A little bit, but it does have that butterscotch taste to it. It's just it doesn't have a lot of like floral.
And color.
Yeah.
I think it's more herby rather than floral.
Yeah. The nectar contains a lot of fructose and much water, so hence the flower could be a little bit, because it has a lot of fructose, it can be thin and it can crystallize quickly, which pretty much is the case with this honey because it's quite crystallized and creamy.
Yeah, slightly greasy.
The actual tree is known to be quite difficult to grow in gardens because it needs to be sheltered. So what they suggest is if you can plant it next to capuca, which is Griselinia littoralis, it does quite good because capuca can protect it from the wind. So if you want to produce Tawari
honey,
yeah, you can plant it next to Griselinia apparently. Yeah. I'm not super impressed. Like, it's nice, but I'm not like, wow, you know what I mean?
It has interesting aspects to it, but
It is very sweet, though. I can agree with that. Yeah. Okay, should we go to the infamous?
let's go to the Leptospermum scoparium.
Which is the very, very famous New Zealand Manuka honey.
And what does Manuka honey mean? It means that it's going to be
Expensive as hell.
expensive
This
as
is probably
hell.
one of the most expensive jars on our table.
And needs to be certified as well.
Can you open it? Because I cannot.
So yeah, shall we talk about the controversial thing so far on the honey market?
Yeah.
Unique Manuka Factor certification, or also known as an UMF certification. The purpose of this gold standard is to ensure the customers receive a promise towards the quality, potency, and authenticity of the product. It helps to identify how pure the product is. Also, it can be certified by the MGO of leptospirin, which is leptospirin measure, and DHA within Manuka honey. And those measurements are crucial to ensuring the health benefits. The higher the above concentrations, the more effectiveness the perceived health benefits are likely to be. Each ingredient corresponds to the specific property that is beneficial to that customer. So MGO stands for the methylglyoxal, which is the substance that scientists understand to be linked to antibacterial properties. According to
So it's not quite. It doesn't have to come from Manuka. Is that correct?
it has to come from Manuka, but it doesn't have to be 100% Manuka.
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I'm just looking at this jar and it says Manuka honey multifloral. Yeah.
So it means that it has to have certain amount / concentration of Manuka identifiers within the product itself. So according to 2011 study by Hindawi, Manuka honey has been measured to have 100-fold higher concentration of MGO than a conventional honey. That's why it's so popular, because the health benefits are much higher than of a regular honey. Leptospirin is a naturally occurring chemical that is solely found in Manuka nectar itself. In 2012, it was discovered to be a critical genetic marker of a genuine Manuka honey. So that's why the amount of the leptospirin within the honey identifies how much percentage-wise you have honey within your product.
Manuka.
Of a Manuka, yeah. To be certified the UMF, the leptospirin must be at the level of at least 100 milligrams per kilogram. And the DHA stands for the dihydrocyacetone, which is the precursor molecule to the MGO and is crucial identifier of pure Manuka honey. The presence of DHA in Manuka honey products indicates the MGO that is being produced in the natural process and not artificially planted. So yeah, the UMF certification can go from 5+ to 32+. The higher the number corresponding to the highest bioactive ingredients.
Nice. So on the table here, we have 2 Manuka infused honeys, call it that way. One of them is Manuka honey that is multifloral, which has 40+ MGO, which is
almost 40+ mg. That's not UMF, so
no, that's not UMF. That's the MGO,
which is relatively low. Like you can find, it's very weird. You can find like 300 MGO plus, but not certified UMF, which I don't know how that works.
But we also have another Manuka honey which is not multifloral, which has UMF, but we call it UMF because it just sounds funnier. UMF level of 10+, which is not the highest, but it's not the lowest either. How about we try the 40+ MGO first, which is the multifloral, and then we try the pure Manuka honey.
Let's compare it. This is how barley looks like. Barley honey.
So quite creamy.
Creamy, dark, maybe even more dark than this, and more grainy.
It's nice. It's got a bit of a cooling effect as well, but it's also not super sweet. Like it's kind of nice. I don't mind it.
Can you pass me a bagel? Yeah, nothing to it. It's honey.
It does have a bit of a cooling effect though. Yeah.
Yeah, with beach honey and with the rata honey, I was like, wow, that's different. I like it. This one is like, honey.
Well, it's multifloral Manuka. So let's try. I honestly haven't had pure Manuka honey in quite a bit, so it would be good to try it.
It probably has more sugar content because it looks more grainy.
Big difference.
Wow.
Okay, yes, I haven't had... Ooh. Okay, now I see why everybody wants Manuka honey from New Zealand. And this is not the highest UMF level either. It is quite expensive though, like... most of the honey that I have on the table, the ones that I bought at least, they were like about $10 a jar.
This one
like
probably
anywhere,
like 30.
22. It wasn't special. Yeah, so it's at least double the price. But hey, look at those lines in the honey. Like
I know.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's actually very yum.
It has kind of cooling effect. Very like it has savoriness to it. It has. Oh my gosh, I need another scoop.
Also, the texture is very different from the other Manuka honey. Like it's more.
It's very creamy.
It's very whipped and creamy. Yeah.
It's not even creamy. It's like
whipped.
It's whipped. It's like caramel texture.
Yum. Absolutely.
Has a little bit of eucalyptus aftertaste to it, I think.
Yes. Does have a bit of that sort of mentholy.
But not like the previous honeys had cooling effect. This one is like, that is kind of eucalyptus.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Also, it's kind of funny to me that to be called purely New Zealand honey, Manuka honey is like purely New Zealand honey, whereas it can be found in Australia as well. But you can't be Manuka certified in Australia because you should be only from New Zealand.
Well, no, you can. There's just a different certification there, I think. I have one last honey that we absolutely do not have a jar of on our table.
Which is Manuka honey 45 plus?
No. Do you know what a mad honey is?
No. Is it from wasps or mad bees?
No.
No?
It is from a poisonous plant. Can you guess what poisonous plant? It's very pretty. We have mentioned it before. I'll give you some hints and I'll try to see if you will
cannabis?
actually
I
guess
wonder
it.
if there is cannabis honey.
I don't know. So you can get those plants in New Zealand. They are quite common in the backyard. Where we used to work, there was a whole section for those plants. It is also...
Kiwi?
No. It is also a national plant of Nepal.
Gosh, you're testing my knowledge, eh?
Yes, okay. In Latin, it means a rose-like tree.
Rhododendron.
Yes! Woo! So, mad honey is produced by bees collecting nectar from rhododendrons, which are highly poisonous. They are absolutely beautiful plants, but they are highly, highly poisonous. They're mostly produced in Mediterranean regions. One of the biggest producers is Turkey. So, how does the mad honey affect your body? They say that, a lot of people believe, obviously because it's such a rarity, a lot of people believe that it has medicinal properties and stuff. It's not very clear. Like, there is not that much research on how well medicinal properties are. But you can get poisoned by consuming too much of that honey because it can be too rich in gyanotoxin, which is the toxin that rhododendrons produce. Gyanotoxin exerts their toxicity by binding to sodium ion channels on cell membranes and preventing them from closing quickly, like aconitin. Aconitin?
Mm-hmm. I assume derived from aconite.
Maybe.
Which is the aconite flower we have wolfbane.
Yes. Yeah.
Wolfbane or foxglove?
No, foxglove is the digitalin, because it's digitalis, yeah. The result is a state of depolarization in which sodium ions are freely flowing into the cells and calcium influx is on the rise. So if you get poisoned by gyanotoxins, the symptoms are increased sweating, salivation, and nausea. So they typically, if it's mild poisoning, they will disappear in 24 hours, but there are cases of people dying from it as well. If you consume a little bit, apparently it's quite intoxicating. So it just, alcohol is a toxin as well. So if you consume a little bit. You feel a bit like, ooh, lightheaded. Same with rhododendron honey. But yeah, so, I mean, I don't know if I'd ever try it. Because
I don't think I would.
yeah, like I don't know if there is any controlling body that controls how much of that toxin is in your honey. Yeah. But it's interesting how, how far people would go to try a novelty.
Honestly, I can't find any information so far about the cannabis honey, but there is a lot of information on honey infused with cannabis, so I'm like, that's not exactly what I'm interested in.
What isn't infused with freaking cannabis?
Exactly.
All right. So I feel like I have a bit of a sugar overdose.
I think it's been nice while it's lasted, and now I'm gonna finish on a sugar high. I think that's the wrap for Two Tipsy Plants for today. Yeah, thank you for getting tipsy with us, and
sugar high.
And the sugar high.
Honey high.
Yeah. Thank you for joining with us today, and thank you for getting tipsy with us and joining with us on our plant-loving shenanigans. We hope we have inspired you to grab a glass of wine, maybe a two, maybe...
Or a jar of honey.
Yes, definitely that. Go grab Rata, it's great. Share the shenanigans. Please share these shenanigans with your friends. We would share the shenanigans with your friends and share the honey with your friends. Share the information about us with your friends, please, because we would like to be able to be in everybody's home. Consensually. If you would like to help us, if you would like to help out our podcast, feel free to follow so you don't miss out on our next wild and tipsy adventures. And don't forget to spread the word. Keep it green.
And keep it tipsy. And honey. And sweet.
Go next to our stick adventures. Bye, guys.
Bye.